Thanks for the support as a channel member, Chris Graves. No, I'm not saying it's Mark's fault. I just thought it was an interesting statistic to bring up that in the 7 games since Mark returned to the club after our unbeaten start to the season, we've lost 3 of them and only won 2. Like I say, I was just bringing up the numbers. I'm not drawing any conclusions from them yet. Hello and welcome to part 61 of Homegrown. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have 2 games for you in the Championship. We're away against West Brom and at home against Derby. Since you were last with me, our form has taken a little bit of a turn. We call it the Wearmouth effect in the trade. He came back on the 21st of September, the day we lost to Arsenal. Now, you could, of course, attribute what's happened since then to the first defeat of the season against Arsenal. We did, after a very, very good start to the season, we were unbeaten for a long time. We did kind of get put in our place in the last episode by Arsenal, and since then we've not quite been the same. But it also coincides with the day that Wearmouth came back, and you can't hide from the fact that he's now been back 7 games and we've lost 3 of them. We've not won in 3 games. We haven't scored in 3 games. And from a position of being very much in the title race, we're now 8 points behind Blackburn. We are still only 3 points off the top of the league, but it's not going as well as it was in a season where we are hoping to get ourselves into the Premier League. Although if this form carries on much longer, we might have to push those plans back a year, which of course means pushing back the get Kieran Hodgkinson back at the club permanently plan back a year as well. So this is a team for the game against West Brom. We're back in the sort of flailing around trying to fit players into different positions and trying different combinations. So Jessop's back up front. Renan is back in the team, but not the same player. I think we might have to sell Renan in January just because the dip in form does also coincide with his return to the side. You'll remember in the last episode that I mentioned he was suspended because he got himself sent off early on in the West Ham game for a wild tackle. He then missed 3 games through suspension, and now he's back. He's not quite the same. I mean, he did score in that one. He's not quite the same man that we had before. So hopefully he can sort his head out. If not, we'll just cash in and try and find ourselves 2 more Renans to replace him. So we're going with Williams in goal, a back four of Hall, Campbell, Barr and Nathan Curry, Hodgkinson and Bandera in midfield, Hamilton and Renan out wide, Cannon and Jessop up front as we go back to try that combination of strikers to see if we can get some goals in there. That was a recommendation there for changing vice-captain, wasn't it? I think Micah Beerith is still the vice-captain. He's actually just gone on the loan list at his own request. And at 24 years old, I think that is very much the beginning of the end for Beerith. It's not normally my thing to loan out 24-year-old players. And I think if we get any kind of cash offer for him in January, we'll probably let him go. And failing that, I think we'll probably look to move him on ourselves in the summer. He's been a good servant, but I think his time is done. Even Pritchard's not getting much game time now. But Pritchard, as I've said, on many an occasion in the past, has got that game-changing off the bench ability that Beerith doesn't quite have. So Pritchard is more useful to keep around for that. West Brom threatening us early on, and it's a narrow offside decision, but offside he was. So we'll take it. We'll allow that as an offside. If you're wondering where Harrison Davies is, despite now being 23 years old, we might be 22, he's still having one of his little rests. He's not on holiday, but he is having a little rest because his natural fitness level is just the dirt worst natural fitness any player has ever had in Football Manager. And West Brom are in again, and luckily it's offside again, but we're not playing an offside trap. They're just struggling a little bit to play by the rules, it seems, but that one's even closer than the one before. And I think they are going to get in behind us sooner or later. There's a couple of early threats there, and we haven't really looked like countering that threat in any way so far. We've had one shot and we missed. West Brom are one of the teams that we're chasing as well. They're just above us in the playoffs. As you can see, they're up in, they're just dropped down to 4th place. They were in 2nd, I think, at the start of the day, but a couple of points ahead of us. And Bandera with the shot from the edge of the area. If that's a couple of inches lower and smacks into the bottom of that crossbar and across the line, that's the sort of thing that can change a poor run of form. But it has been a long time now since we scored a goal, since we were in the lead in a football match, and that's a massive miss for West Brom. They are certainly warning us that they're coming. They're giving us every opportunity to go and try and counter them in some way, and we're not, because that's who we are. I mean, we don't have Davies, so without him, there's not only so much we can do defensively. We're just kind of treading water, waiting for him to come back in the team and hopefully be fit again. They are in again here, and this is looking worrying because they're building up from a little bit deeper, being careful not to head offside, and this time they hit the post or the crossbar or something. We are very, very lucky to not yet be behind in this game, and I just don't think we look like scoring at all on our own, although West Brom pretty wasteful there, playing the ball out for a throw, and the highlight ends. I'm not sure this front two works at this level. Renan with the flick on from the long throw, and Jessop's there, and Tommy Jessop scores. It's a 9th goal of the season for Jessop. For clarity, he's not the one I had question marks over. It was more a case of, do I put Renan or Hodgkinson or Roberts up front with Jessop? Troy Cannon, he's another one who I'm starting to get a little worried about. He's probably got a year or two more with us yet, but I don't think Troy Cannon is ever going to be the superstar, best player, heroic top goal scorer that we all hoped he would be when he burst onto the scene probably 4 or 5 seasons ago now. It has been a while for Troy Cannon. He's never really established himself as a regular starter. We've got Hall. That message is a dumb one. He's 1 yellow card away from suspension. Well, that doesn't mean I'm going to take him off. Leave him on. Let him get suspended. We're less than a third of the way into the season. He's going to get suspended sooner or later. It's probably better he gets suspended sooner. Cannon plays it forward to Jessop, who collects well, turns well, and is now on the run. Micah Hamilton's made it into the area to support him. Jessop's just waiting for the foul, I think, but instead does manage to hold it up well and get it across to Hodgkinson. And it's Joe Barr who comes charging out of the back 4 to keep the ball moving. That's actually pretty good play from Barr. I like to see that. Get the ball forward, keep the pressure on, and Renan is there with a header, and we've gone 2-0 up. We don't deserve to be ahead in this game, but I'm not going to argue at all. And for Renan to grab a goal, that's a nice thing to see as well, because hopefully he can slowly but surely start to work his way back towards the wonderful player that we had last season. It's a solid header for him coming in off the right wing to put us 2-0 up. West Brom are feeling like they're being completely mugged at the moment, and I think it's fair for them to feel that way, but I don't care. I want the points. Right, we're going to move Renan out onto the left and get Euron Hughes on the right-hand side. We're also going to switch up this midfield because we've got 2 very tired boys in midfield, so Ivanov can come on in there. And you know what? We will make the double change. We're going to bring Connor Roberts on in midfield as well. Troy Cannon getting to stay on, basically for fitness reasons. If it was all to do with a tactical change or a performance-based change, Cannon would be taken off because he's not really been involved at all. But we've got players on this pitch who are much more tired than he is, so he gets to continue trying to make his point that he should be in the team. Jessop charging forward again. The problem Jessop's got is he's got no one supporting him when he gets clear like that. Cannon is just taking too long to get up alongside him. I wonder if we need to switch Troy Cannon onto an attacking instruction just to get him up there supporting Jessop a little bit more. We know Jessop is very, very quick, and I think having him as the most advanced player... Why is the game just stopped? That was weird. Having Jessop as the most advanced player when he's also the quickest of the front 4 does lead to him getting a little bit isolated. It's why I often toy with playing Jessop out on the wing, because it just starts him a little bit deeper so he doesn't end up flying beyond everybody, which is really, if we hit a ball over the top, having Jessop ruin people for pace is really handy. When we're trying to build something up a little bit slower, it does cause problems with him getting isolated. Hall with a clearance after some scrambled defending there. We've just got to hold on for a couple more minutes. This will be a very important result if we can hold on to this one. Puts us back to 3 points outside of the automatic promotion spots, beats a playoff rival, and hopefully goes a long way towards turning our iffy form around. With Eli Campbell massively taking his time. Got to respect that. And Renan plays it into Jessop, and that was an example of Jessop's pace being really, really useful, which is why I still can't quite decide what to do with him. But it worked today. We won the game. That's the important thing. I wasn't expecting to do it. So lovely old stuff. let's try and win the next one as well. Couple of changes then for the Derby game. Curry moves back into midfield with Brewerton coming back in at right back. Harrison Davies has finished his little rest, so he can come back into the team alongside Joe Barr, who I am becoming more and more impressed with. I know we spent a lot of money on him, and I'm now, I mean, he's only played a couple of games, but he's looked good in them. I really liked that bit where he burst forward and kept that attack going in the last game. So that's going to earn him like 3 years as a starting centre-back now until I notice that he's missing some other area of his game. You know how these things work for me. I did have a proper look at the recommendation from the assistant manager before the game, and the recommendation was to make Alex Williams vice-captain instead of Micah Beereth, which for a 19-year-old does seem a little excessive. I never really liked goalkeepers as captain anyway. Southampton are interested in him. I wonder if it might be something that we do as part of a contract negotiation at the start of January to say, and we'll make you vice captain as well. In fact, I'm sure we have got an optional contract extension. Why can't we do it? That was supposed to be put in as a safety net in case somebody comes in for him. I'm a little bit worried we're not going to be able to use our safety net, which I don't like the sound of at all. But let's hopefully carry on some of the momentum from the game against West Brom. We've just had an international break, so everybody should be fully fit and raring to go. Harrison Davies, like I say, fit, having returned from his little break. He does still go away with the Wales under-21s, which is odd considering he's not under 21, but he's nowhere near I'd say he's nowhere near the full side. I don't know that for sure, but he's never been called up for the full side. So his days of international breaks must be close to an end. That's a beautiful save from Alex Williams. He's really making a case for becoming that vice captain. He's probably closing in. I mean, if Hodgkinson wasn't here, he's probably the best player at the club now, isn't he? It's a coin flip between Williams and Renan. And Renan has got an opportunity here if Cannon had given him the ball, but he didn't. Cannon just kept on running. Renan was in a nice little pocket of space for a moment, but Cannon just ran past him rather than playing it into him, and the move broke down. Derby are another team who are very much in the promotion push as well. They're hovering just outside of the playoff spots. Cannon's in there, but fires it straight into the goalkeeper. Love a Cannon, but I should push harder for him to be a star for us. Curry comes over to take the in-swinging corner. Davies, he's there, and his header goes just wide. Harrison Davies closing in on double figures for goals for the season already because he's such a threat from these set pieces these days. But that was a rare miscue, and it ends up going wide. Harrison Davies has got a sad face on. I don't know why he's got a sad face. Have they just gone down to 10 men here? I don't even know what that's for. That seemed completely innocuous. But Derby down to 10 men. Interesting. Barr heads forward to Curry. I want to have a look to see what they're doing with their system, and we might just, maybe for the second half, if it's still 0-0, go a little bit more attacking if they're now trying to protect the 0-0. Jessup is in, and Jessup scores. Forget about going more attacking. We don't need to now. It's 1-0. It's a 10th goal of the season for Jessup. It's a lovely finish as well, especially as it's on his weaker foot. He's a left footer, and he's just taken that onto his right foot and smashed it into that top corner from the edge of the area. Hodgkinson does well to find him in a little bit of space, and Jessup isn't missing a chance like that because he's that good. 1-0 to us, and that catapults us up to third in the league, level on points with Fulham, who are in second at the moment, if we can hold on. It also leaves us only 4 points behind Blackburn as things stand. So Blackburn have obviously had a couple of iffy results since we checked in on them at the start of the episode. They're currently 0-0 at home to Peterborough, and it would be very nice to end the episode. An episode that started with a little bit of negativity. It would be quite nice to end the episode back in the title race. That'd be spectacular. What I haven't done in amongst all this is checked what Derby are doing formation-wise. It looks like they've just gone to a 4-4-1 with two flat fours, which, I mean, I don't expect too much attack-wise from them if that's what they're going to be doing. So I'm pretty happy just to leave things as they are in that situation. Look how deep Troy Cannon was there. He might not be scoring lots of goals, but he really is helping the midfield out. We might not have officially switched to a 4-2-3-1, but I think this is why Beereth is struggling as much as he is, because the team, when it's Cannon there, or when it's Hodgkinson there, or when it's Roberts there, this player is spending a lot of time in here, and it basically is a 4-2-3-1 now because Cannon drops so deep, and he is doing a lot of good work for us. So it's difficult because you know how much I like to judge a striker by how many goals they score. I've managed to avoid doing that a little bit this year with Danny Pritchard, who's never been a prolific goal scorer, but always weighs in with big goals. And that kind of keeps him fresh in my mind. But Cannon's not really scoring much in the way of goals at all, but he's always involved and always helping out the midfield. I do like that. I just need to keep reminding myself I like that. Right. Hamilton has picked up a knock, so we're going to move Renan over to that side. And we'll bring Hughes on the right. A pretty easy change to make there. Hamilton's actually not in the best of form at the moment, so we might actually start with this in the next game or two, just to give Renan another opportunity out on the left-hand side, where supposedly he is going to be better. We're going to take Curry off in midfield, and we're going to stick. We're not going to put... How good is Roberts as a central midfielder? I know we played him there in the last game. He is an accomplished central midfielder. You know what? We'll bring Connor Roberts on in midfield. We need to train him into becoming the longer-term Kieran Hodgkinson replacement if we do end up stuck in this division again. And we could then maybe go with Roberts and Curry in midfield and not use him up front, which, I don't know. He's another one who's not a prolific goal scorer, but he's really good in that support striker role. Cannon was very much involved there as well. And I do wonder if Jessup doesn't touch that, does it end up just bobbling into the back of the net anyway? So it's Cannon with the shot and it's Jessup who is offside there. No, it is going wide. So Jessup did need to take the touch and he was offside. So again, not going to argue too much, but I'm a little bit troubled that we're only 1-0 up in this game. We should be doing a little bit better than we are. We're going to bring on Danny Pritchard for the last 10 minutes or so, just for the set piece threat, just to try and grab us that second goal for a little bit of comfort. And it's Brewerton with the long throw. He's going to be looking for Pritchard in there. Pritchard was lurking, as was Jessup, but the goalkeeper just handles it relatively comfortably. I'm noticing as we get further and further up this league pyramid, goalkeepers are finding it a little bit easier to cope with the long throws. They're less effective than they used to be. That's a lovely pass from Renan. Hughes is in a crossing position here, but couldn't get past his man. Pritchard and Jessup were both lurking in the middle, but it is Derby who come away with the ball again. And if they manage to grab a draw when they've played over an hour of the game with 10 men, that does put a dampener back on our supposed change of form again. Derby on the right-hand side, Hall needs to deal with this and he doesn't. And they've danced into the area here and they have scored. And this is not part of the plan. We're immediately going attacking. I'm demanding more. I'm not accepting a draw at home against a team that have played most of the game with 10 men. It's not okay. We're throwing a few men forward now. This is where we need Danny Pritchard to weigh in with one of his headers from a set piece. But it looks like we're not even going to get another highlight. Well, we won a game we shouldn't have won, and we just drew a game we should have won. I guess we've ended the episode roughly even to where we were supposed to be. We are still in the promotion mix. We're only 6 points behind Blackburn. Things are still looking pretty good, but they could have been looking even better if it wasn't for some defensive sloppiness at the end there. We will be back tomorrow as ever, probably around about FA Cup third round day, although it seems quite late in January again, so it might be that we come back a little bit earlier. I want to see how we're faring going into January. There is a little bit of money in the bank. I'm worried that if that balance drops below $1 million before we get to January, we're going to be in a position where if we get another £4 million offer for Renan, we can't turn it down this time, which is not ideal. We are losing money at. Hold on, I want. Does the summary tell me how much we lost last month? I want last month. This is silly. Give me last month. Doesn't look like we can get it. I suspect we might. I hope we might be okay. We shall see. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.